Hey, and welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to this Turo Fitness podcast. Today's episode, I'm talking about how to understand emotional eating and kind of decoding that emotional eating and understanding those triggers and patterns. So recently I asked in my Instagram story what you are struggling with, and by far the most common struggle was emotional eating, and especially stress eating. So I decided to make a series of podcasts focusing on emotional eating. So we are going to get started with just in a basic, like how to understand, first of all, if you are struggling, if that what you think you are suffering or struggling is emotional eating, or is it something else. So in these episodes, I try to keep them relatively short, like not longer than 30 minutes. We will see how things are going, how excited I'm getting when I'm talking about it. And then we go step by step further. So this is part one. And next week, I'm going to publish then part two. So this is the plan. So let's get into started. So first is introduction to emotional eating. So what is the definition? So emotional eating refers to the tendency to respond to feelings like stress, boredom, sadness, or even joy, and with eating, and instead of listening your hunger cues. And this is one of the hardest things to actually recognize, like, because it's very common that we are thinking that we are actually we are eating for emotions, but when we are actually physically hungry, or it could be that we are actually physically thirsty. So this is something like emotional eating. It's something that you feel those unwanted or wanted feelings, and then you are kind of suppressing, or you are satisfying those feelings with any food. So, and emotional hunger is something that it comes suddenly, and it's usually some craves from some specific comfort foods. So what are then psychological triggers? So these are emotions like stress, anxiety, maybe depression or loneliness. So it's a coping strategy. Emotional eating is a coping strategy to suppress those negative emotions. So when you are recognizing that you have tendency that when things are getting busy, or you have 1,000 tasks, or you don't know, there is like so many things, and then you have that, now I need this food, or something like I personally with the stress, I don't eat for stress, but kind of boredom eating, or that is something what I, especially late at night when I'm watching TV, it's often I ask myself question that do I really need food, or am I just eating because it's just I'm just used to it, it's comfortable, and I'm kind of suppressing that my uncomfortable feeling of being boredom. And there are strategies like it's not that something, sometimes it's not the, I don't see it is always such a bad thing that you should completely avoid, but there are different strategies and how to make it better, or that it's not then because it's if you let's say that you have a problem with the stress eating and you, because when you feel stressed or some kind of unwanted emotion and how you are coping with that is that you eat half kilo of chocolate. So obviously this is something that it will affect to your health, to your healthy body weight and how you are going to feel. But if it's something like that, you are really enjoying it, you are, after even you did it, what you did, you are still feeling that it's okay. It's not that bad. I'm okay with it. So then in that way, that is for me, it's totally fine. But there is that big line like that, how to actually you can start to improve it and how to make those changes. And in these episodes, this is where we are going to. So first, of course, the first step is to actually recognize that what are your personal triggers. So this is always the step number one, because most people, they think that I just need to fix it and I need to get rid of that emotion. I have to stop it. I don't have willpower, or there is something wrong with me. I can do it for a while, but I haven't found any long-term strategies. So it always starts with those personal triggers. So how to get actually started is that what I always recommend is to start journaling. It could be old-fashioned pen and paper, or writing even into your phone notes, like a kind of food and mood diary. So this is like a food diary, like you don't need to wake your food or anything, but just recognizing those triggers when it happens. So basically you are writing down that what you are eating, when you were eating, and what is your emotional state at the time you were eating. So, for example, that afternoon when I was eating chocolate, when my boss just gave me a ton of work to do before it was Friday afternoon, and before Monday I need to finish. So it was you were in obviously in emotional state. You were having that stress and probably even anxiety that are you going to make it, and that kind of emotional, and then you responded that for eating chocolate. So this is, but it could be also opposite, like these kind of examples. If you recognize that, okay, I was eating it in the same situation, I was craving sweets, or I was eating some other not very healthy snacks afternoon, and then when you are writing when you are eating, and you could recognize, like often, especially when I work with my clients, I look a lot of these, like if there is some pattern and when it happens, what you have been eating. And it's always not only about that emotional state, because that, those things you can't change. But if that happens, like I recognize from myself and for many of my clients that often if I'm lacking protein, for example, or fiber earlier in the day, I'm snacking all the time, mindlessly afternoon. And then, of course, I might feel some emotions, but I don't understand that this is not actually emotional eating, or even it is related with emotional eating, but that cause is coming actually from somewhere, that I'm lacking something, that I haven't had enough protein for my breakfast or for my lunch. And I recognize that right away. And that is something from my clients, like they were like, I don't know what was wrong with me, that I was snacking whole afternoon. I never had a real meal. And then we were looked like that, okay, this happened a couple of times already earlier. And it was probably the reason was that you didn't have basically any protein. You skipped breakfast or had just a coffee. It was a busy morning. For your lunch, you had just a salad with minimum amount of protein. So, and you didn't have any fiber. So there's no wonder that you are snacking all the time, or you are feeling hungry, because those are the most satiating foods. And if your goal, let's say that one of my clients, that goal was to eat 2,000 calories, and she had before afternoon like a 300-400 400 calories. So there's no wonder that you are feeling like that there's something wrong with you, because I'm feeling like snacking all the time. And of course you are just hungry, and not there is nothing wrong with your emotional eating. So this is always the step number one, to writing down your food, your mood, and when you eat, what to eat, and then you can review these diaries to notice patterns that what are linked for eating patterns. And this is obviously something what you can do yourself. And this is where coaching, like we do this kind of together. And if you need any help, coaching options, there are so many of them. You can always DM me, check my website, personaltrainer.turo.com. But I'm not going to talk now coaching, because this episode is all about helping you. So then once you have recognized those personal triggers, then it's coming all kind of role of mindfulness. And this is something what most people, they have heard that what is I need to practice mindfulness or mindful eating, but then it's still very hard to do, and most people are still struggling to do it. And I have to commit, I'm one of those persons who I still, even because knowing the things and actually doing them are two different things. So sometimes, like I tell from my own personal example, like I love to eat, and I love to eat a lot, and often I'm eating way too fast. I'm not having that kind of trying to slow things down, and I don't know. This is coming from my childhood. I know that I have learned to eat too fast and kind of always on the go, and it was, I don't know where all these habits are coming from. But now at the age of 42, I still struggle leaving something for my plate, eating slower. Even I know ideas for the people to do these things, but I still struggle to do them consistently personally. Like I sometimes I'm able to do it for a while, but then, you forget, you go back to your old habits. But there is always process and progress. And progress is not that you fix it once for all, but just aiming to improve and seeing like I'm for sure in a better place that I was 5 years ago, or 1 year ago. So this is always kind of trying to improve and seeing what is important, what goals you have. And so what is if I need to explain what is mindfulness. So mindfulness, it's basically being fully aware of the present moment. And this is something I struggle a lot, not only with the food, but just being present. And I know that so many other people, like, you are looking like that, you are now with the phone, you are looking on the phone, you are with the other people, but you are at the same time, you are scrolling your social media, and you are not, or you have some other things in your mind, what you are thinking. And trust me, other people are seeing it. And if you think consistently for something else where you are at the moment, it's same thing with the food. So you are, and this makes it so hard, because you are not able to recognize the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger. So there are some practices, how you can practice it and how you can improve it. So there are some like mindfulness techniques, like, for example, mindful breathing or pausing before eating, to kind of see what is the true nature of your hunger. So good example for mindful breathing is simple, but so powerful to center your attention and calm your mind. So here's how to actually practice it. So it's just that you find a quiet place. So sit or lie down in a quiet and comfortable place where you don't be disturbed, and then just focusing on your breath. So you close your eyes, take a few deep breaths to start, and then allow your breathing to return to a natural rhythm. So focus, you have to pay attention how you are breathing. So you notice kind of that air is moving in and out from your nose. So always breathe. In this example, I recommend to breathe only through nose. And then focusing, paying attention how you are rising and fall of if it's going to be your chest or belly, it doesn't matter. In this practice, it's all about just calming down. So just taking a deep breaths from your nose, focusing on your belly or your chest where you are, and then acknowledging those distractions. So your mind will inevitably wander. So when you notice this happening, gently acknowledge whether it comes up, and then kindly bring your attention back to your breath. So, because if when you are trying to like, this is what I would love to try some. I haven't practiced enough. It's all about practicing. That if you are practicing, for example, meditation, because I'm not. I really struggle. But this is something like that you don't need to. If you are not very good at distracting yourself, then it's all about practice. You can start with 1 minute or 30 seconds, repeat it, and then trying to do it more often, and you are able to improve. I have to say that I'm not. This is not my type of my kind of therapy is walking, where I go without distractions, talking with my wife, and this is my favorite hobby. I feel like that at the moment I don't need meditation, but I know that for some people it has been very helpful. But so this. Breathing exercise. It's just a helpful way to understand, distract yourself, and acknowledge that when those distractions are coming, your mind starts to wander. Then just get your focus back to breathing, and you practice it regularly, just a few minutes daily, practicing mindful breathing, and it's helping to reduce your stress, increase your awareness of emotional triggers which are related to eating. So this is a great way to first step if you are recognizing, and then taking kind of little bit time and distract yourself from eating right away. So then how then actually those kind of practical tools. So what are kind of strategies? I'm going to go in the next episodes more in these practical tools and strategies, but basically managing those cravings. So just my favorite strategy is delaying. So I recently posted in my Instagram, basically telling in short all these tips. So first is basically delay. So ideally, well, you set the timer, and I love to use this is like that you set your phone timer somewhere that it's visible. So you know that, or you watch the time if you have a digital watch, that it's going to be exactly 5 minutes in the beginning. It could be ideally 15, but if you are new at this, I would start with the 5 minutes. So during this 5 minutes, you have to wait that you are not allowed to eat, and then within these 5 minutes, you could drink water, distracting, like doing this breathing exercise, or basically whatever you decide to do. You can go for a walk, you can call a friend, walk around in an apartment, and then you are basically seeing if you are actually hungry, or if this is some emotion what you need to address in some other way than food. So those mindfulness exercises, what I talked, they are good ways to do. Like there is some kind of meditation, mindful eating exercises. I'm not going to go through these exercises now, but there are some great exercises. So this is then step number 2, and more on this we will go through on next episodes. So make sure you have subscribed to my podcast, so you will get notified when next episode is going out. And these episodes usually I publish every Thursday in the morning, Central European time. I had a couple very good questions what I want to address, and these were questions. What I got in my Instagram, and I thought that in Instagram it's very short form to answer these questions. So I thought that I'm going to answer in this podcast in a little bit longer way. So the first question was that how can I tell the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger? And like we talked a little bit earlier, emotional hunger usually comes suddenly, and that demands instant satisfaction with specific comfort foods. So the difference, physical hunger, it develops usually more slowly, and it's open to variety of foods. And good test is always, this is a kind of other strategy. What we are going to talk more in the next episodes is an apple test. So if you are not sure if it's emotional hunger or if it's a physical hunger, you are able to, like, it doesn't matter if you are apple test. If you are, would Apple do a trick? So if you are, let's say that you are having that stressful emotional meeting or whatever, you come home, you are emotional, and now you want to eat something. First question, what I would ask from myself is that, can I eat an apple? Would I eat an apple? And when the answer is that yes, then go for it. Eat an apple first, and then toast your specific food. So because there is always a big chance that you are not actually, when you, after eating an apple, you might have a second thought that do I actually need those my comfort foods? So this is the first step and kind of the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger. And emotional hunger also tends to lead to mindless eating, and it isn't satisfied once you are full, unlike physical hunger. So physical hunger, when you have had enough, you had enough. Like it's if you probably don't want to eat 8 apples or 8 potatoes. If you have physical hunger, you are good to eat with those, because then you will be satisfied. But once you are full, it's you are done. And with the emotional hunger, it's the difference is that if you crave those specific foods, it doesn't you often, if it's like a kind of binging or overeating. It depends on which term you are using. I had episodes on this, but let's say that it's slightly overeating, and you are eating slightly above the point you are feeling already full, because you are just eating because it's so good. You are craving it. It makes you feel that it's now you had often it's kind of related with the thoughts that now once I had, you are telling often yourself that I can't have chocolate. It could be potato chips or whatever, ice cream, that once you can't have this. And then once you say that, okay, now I'm having it, and then it's often you think that now when I already had it, and I know that not going to, I'm going to get back on track tomorrow. And now it doesn't matter. I already ruined it. I eat over. I can eat it now and getting back on track on tomorrow or Monday or whatever. So this is kind of that there's no thinking about that. Am I already full? But it's already like kind of feeling guilty of what you have done. And it's kind of that emotional hunger instead of physical hunger. So this is the difference. And like I said, we talk more about these things in the next episodes. Then second question, what are some initial steps I can take to manage emotional eating? And this is kind of the question what I already answered, that start keeping a food and mood diary to track your eating habits and emotions. And this will also help you to identify specific triggers. So practicing that mindfulness, it can be also very effective. So when you are just simply trying to pause, when you get that urge to eat emotionally, like setting that 5 minute timer, and then ask yourself that what you are really feeling and whether there is a non-food response, if that would be kind of more appropriate. So it's always kind of getting that delay. And even if you, because there's nothing wrong with you if you decide that, okay, now I was doing everything. I was waiting. I was eating an apple before. I still went and ate that chocolate I was craving, or those my comfort foods. And it's a decision. You don't need to do it every time perfectly, but I guarantee more often you take these steps, you will see some progress. And remember that even if that thing is what you are struggling, you are struggling 10 out of 10, you would eat chocolate, and now you are following these steps, and one, maybe 2 times out of 10, you are able to decide differently. That is a progress. That is a progress. And that in the long term, it makes a difference. So don't get like that. If it's not working every single time, don't give up, because this is all about progress in the long term, and not kind of all in or nothing, that you try to fix everything in one way. And then this kind of last question what I got was that, is it kind of possible to stop emotional eating completely? And like I just said, it may be challenging to stop emotional eating entirely, but it's for sure possible to manage and reduce it significantly. So it's not that don't think that you have to stop it right away, but understanding that when you start to understand why it's happening, and then finding ways, like different ways to deal with it, like practicing mindfulness. Maybe you are developing healthier coping strategies, or you find some different foods, different rules which are working for you, and there is no like one way what is working for all. So usually, like my job as a coach is often to provide strategies, and my goal is not to tell you that you have to do this, but let's say that I would give you 5 different strategies, and then it's your job to decide what you think that would work for you, and then it's trial and error. So we are trying different things. Maybe it's working, it's good, but the thing is that there's a lot likely what I have seen after working with so many people, that if I tell people that this is the only way, this is what you have to do, often those strategies are not working. My goal is to lead you kind of to find a way that it's coming from yourself, because when you believe that this is the right way, this could be working for me, then there is a very big chance that it's working also in the long term. Instead of if somebody is telling you that you have to eat an apple, but you are thinking like that, what is this fucking apple? I hate apples. How should I able to do it? I know that I will probably do it once or twice, then that's not going to work. So the goal is always that it's those ideas, they are coming from you and not from coach or from me, because ultimately it's you who is making. Maybe this is for someone who is stubborn like me. I need to, like, if some coach is telling me some business ideas, ultimately I need to make it happen, or that it's coming from me, that idea, or somehow that it's not like I'm very good at following like instructions, that this is it, this is what we are doing, and I know someone needs it, but just my thinking is a little bit different. So hopefully this was a helpful episode, and like I said, I'm going to plan next week's next steps, and creating new content for emotional eating. So if you enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you let me know in my Instagrams, and if you know that this was helpful, please share it in your Instagram story. And obviously, thank you for those who have leave those reviews in Apple Podcasts, Spotify. They are helping a lot to get this message out for more people. So thank you who have already done it, and I would really appreciate if you do it. So thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.